So today we're going to talk all things protein. What it is, how much do we need? Is it good for us? Is it bad for us? Tell us the science behind it, Dr. Luke.
Yeah, this one we've got a lot to talk about. I I mean, to start off, let's just talk about like what protein is exactly. So you hear people talk about macronutrients, fats, carbohydrates, and protein. And protein is essentially a bunch of amino acids that come together to form a protein. And your body needs 20 different amino acids to build proteins within it. And 11 of those amino 11 of those amino acids are what we call non-essential, meaning that your body has the components necessary to actually create these amino acids on its own. But 9 of them are what are called essential amino acids, meaning you have to get that from a diet of any source. Your body's not able to make them. And what happens when you take in protein is that protein will get broken down into these amino acid components. Those amino acids will then get absorbed and then delivered straight to your liver. So they get absorbed from your gut into what's called the portal circulation, and it's a vein that just goes directly from your gut to your liver. Your liver wants access to all your food right away. Fats are different. Fats get emptied into your lymphatic system and such, but it's so important to deliver fuels to your liver first. And that's why we have this vein that goes directly from our gut to the liver. And that's what happens with amino acids. And I bring that up because we're going to come back to this point of what's called first pass metabolism, where liver kind of gets first dibs on anything you take in. So liver's super selfish, but it's also a giver. The liver's a giver in terms of like it's going to take what it needs, but it's also going to make sure everyone else at the party is well accounted for. It's going to send fuels to different parts of the body, including even your brain, making sure that your brain has everything it needs to function. So that's why it's so important to send everything to the liver. Now, when we absorb these amino acids, our cells in our body are able to use our DNA. We have what are called messenger RNA components of our DNA. It's basically our DNA's ability to tell the cell what proteins to build. And proteins are kind of the building blocks of everything in your body. Every cell is made up of proteins. And so when we throw this word protein around, it's kind of covering like a majority of components of a majority of cells in a majority of your organs. So like things like when we talk about insulin. Insulin is a protein, or collagen. People talk about collagen being part of connective tissue. That's a protein. Your body has to build these. And so that's, essentially why we need protein is for building blocks of being able to regenerate things that get broken down, making sure we have the components to maintain organ function, improve any damage, and so on. And so your body's kind of recycling through protein day to day. It will break down proteins and rebuild them constantly. That's happening all the time. Now, one area or one organ that does a ton of protein synthesis or building new proteins is your muscle. And muscle demands a pretty high amount of amino acids to stimulate that protein synthesis. And so I wanted to cover that of like what protein is. It's essentially there to provide these building blocks for your body. It's separate to like carbohydrates and fat that you take in to utilize for energy. I mean, there's some components of fat that like a cholesterol provides some stability for the membrane of all your cells, but it's mostly fat and carbohydrate intake is there to provide energy, to provide fuel. That is not why you take in protein. Amino acids can be utilized for energy. They can be oxidized and broken down. The liver can take up certain amino acids and produce them into glucose. That does happen, but your body does not want to do that. It doesn't want to use protein as energy. It wants to use protein to build, okay? So it's different than carbohydrates and fats.
Now, when you say branch chain, no, you didn't say branch chain amino acids.
I didn't yet.
Okay, well, amino acids. Is that the same thing as branch chain amino acids?
So
The supplement you take?
branch chain amino acids are a few of those essential amino acids. So leucine, isoleucine, and valine, those three are your branch chain amino acids that have shown to provide quite a bit of stimulus to the muscle to tell it to grow. But other amino acids are able to do that. And branch chain amino acids just happen to be really good at stimulating this protein synthesis and also the capability to be broken down and utilized as fuel. So when we're talking amino acids, branch chain amino acids are contained within those.